Did you know that the Hawaiians have a name for our natural state of being? And it's called Kohō. And what that has to do with the law of attraction and the law of the universe? Aloha, my beautiful soul, and welcome to energy wave number 7 of my series on how to get from overwhelm to self-trust as a witchy and highly sensitive ADHDer. I'm very excited to go into today's episode because it's one of my favorite Hawaiian words, Kohō. One of the words that I learned from my wonderful Kumu Mahalani on Big Island when I did my internship there, where I went into a deep dive on one form of the Ho'oponopono Ke'ala teachings, I'm going to call them. Yeah. And it was an incredibly beautiful, life-changing journey. And I'm very excited to share this part with you today because Kohō is the Hawaiian term for when the universe matches your energy. And one of the things that we don't understand, because we often say, hey, I want to manifest this, or I want to learn how to manifest this or that. The thing is that if we dive into the whole manifestation energy, it all comes down to this, to understanding that us as human beings are in a good, I'm going to call it a good relationship with the universe, because the universe always matches our energy. Not always, like I said, our energy, not always what we think is not always our energy. And I think that's a very high distinction that we need to make, because you've probably said this, like, hey, I tell myself this or that all the time. I repeat it all the time and it never happens and it never gets manifested. Right? But then we say other stuff and then we get other things manifested. I'm like, man, I can't manifest because I've been manifesting that I want to have this job or this apartment or the love of my life. And I keep on saying it, but I don't, it hasn't manifested yet into my life. What's happening? What am I doing wrong? The thing is that you're trying to change it with your thoughts, which is a great start. I'm not going to say it's a good start to go there. But the thing is, what about your energy? The universe is matching your whole energetic system, meaning your thoughts, your feelings, and your energetic field, which is also made up of things that are all in our subconscious brain. Just in our subconscious. There you go. So why does that, why does that happen? Kohō, I love it. It's like, if I take into account my whole system, or when you think about the things that you wanted to manifest, how was your whole system? Was your whole system, your energetic system, your energies, your thoughts, your emotions, were they there? Or were you trying to manifest with your mind, right? Saying on the affirmations and incantations, but your energy system, your whole being, was feeling the lack of, was feeling missing something. Just going to give you this beautiful explanation. Not explanation. I want to give you this example. Because same here. You're talking to the lady that used to hear everybody talking about manifestations. And I'm like, I can't even manifest a parking spot. Every time I do the thing with the parking spot, it's a 50-50 chance of happening. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm like completely confused, like, does it work or not? Like, for me, it doesn't work. Everybody else is working. For me, it's not working. Until I had that journey that I just mentioned on Hawaii with my teacher. And I finally understood that it's not just here. It's our whole system that needs to adjust to the energy that we want to call into our lives. The moment I understood that, I was firm when I was manifesting parking spaces. And ever since then, I have never missed a parking space ever since, because I understood that I need to bring my whole energetic system to show that. And one of my other favorite examples, and I'm very sorry because I can't give, I don't know who to give credit to, but this is an image that was, in the beginning of Facebook, I think someone had put up it was like an illustration of a man standing at a bus stop and it was raining. And then you saw, like a bubble of the thoughts of the man standing there at the bus stop. And then there was a little angel on the cloud sitting there with a notepad looking at what that person was manifesting. And I'm not sure if it said on the image or if it was, written underneath, but you could see that man was not happy with his boss. Something was there happening at work. Then you had, I think love life, something, it was sort of images. And then you would see the angel writing down, oh man, when is he going to ask for a good boss? He keeps on asking for a bad boss. And then, oh, I don't think his relationship is going to last. He's asking again for it, not for, for the relationship not to last. And then, and I don't know, like something for the weather or something like that. There was a third one. And what this image was showing basically was, because this person was always in the energy of my boss is not good, and soon they're gonna, I'm gonna be losing my job because of this, and then because of the whole job situation, my partner is going to leave me. So that's the energy in which that person was sticking all the time. And I'm showing, I'm trying to say this could be in our consciousness or subconsciously, right? So this could be a thing. And then the person had that, and the angel who is taking up, the order for the universe, was writing it down. Okay, this person keeps on asking for that. When are they going to ask for something else? And what I want you to understand with this image is that, it could be good if you write down your, like I mentioned before, the gratefulness journals in the morning and in the evening. But if in between you keep on being in lack, you keep on being in what you're missing out, what you're not having in your life, then that's going to be the reality. Because the 5 minutes in the morning and in the evening are not going to make up for the 8 hours in between or 12 hours in between. And how does that translate for us ADHDers and or witchy highly sensitive people? Is that how often do we think that, in general, how often do we overthink things, right? We are the typical overthinkers. We are the typical ones that go through situations from past to end situations in the future. And this is set in stone inside of us. Why? Because from the very beginning, we are sensitive enough to feel everybody's energies. And at the same time, we were probably taught that we need to mask, we need to fit in, and we need to make it good for everybody else. And that's why we're overthinking so many things. And I completely hear you there. I want you to know, I completely understand. I've been there. I still have the overthinking mode sometimes. It's just that I don't give it too much energy anymore. It exists. I might have it every now and then, and it's there and it's going through different situations, and then I snap out of it again. Because I've learned to acknowledge it's there, because it's part of me, who I am. And at the same time, I'm not giving it too much power. Right? Meaning I'm going to be trusting. I'm going to ask myself, how can I come back to the energy of trust? Because I am always Kohō. The world, the universe always delivers on my energy. So what can I do to transform my energy into something positive? And the more I am in alignment with myself, in alignment with where I want to go, in alignment where the universe is trying to show me where to go, the more I am in alignment with all of these things, the less and less negative, I'm going to give them into quotes, negative things are going to be happening. And again, we're there, with the what is negative, right? Everything happens because it's showing me something. That's another thing that I love about Kohō, or in general, that I understood with, all the Hawaiian teachings that I've been through, because they teach us that the world outside of us is a reflection of our inside selves, right? So everything out there is actually showing me my insides. And with that, I know that in the beginning, when you started understanding, especially when we're highly sensitive, when we start understanding that part inside of us, it feels like a burden. Sometimes it even feels as if as if the universe is punishing us, or as if we are being punished for being so sensitive. But remember, with all the waves that we've been going through, if we switch this into the positive, into not seeing it as a punishment, but actually as an empowerment tool, let's forget about the past, because we can't change anything about the past, but we can look at it to learn for the future. And when you look at what energies you have been emanating to the outside world and shift that for yourself and understand the empowerment that it has, because that's the power you have for the future. The more you learn to shift your energies. And here it is. I don't want you to just, change your energies from that to no. I want you, that's why, in the past waves that we've been talking about, I was talking about becoming the observer of you, to see where do you have a pain? Where do you have anger? Where do you have, some painful emotions that have been with you? And when you start to watch for those, become the observer, that's when you can, heal all of those parts. And the more you heal those parts, the more you're going to be attracting the right things and the right people, because your system is set on where you want to go, instead of just, the things that you don't want to have. Right? That's also a very deep understanding, because we live so much in the energy of what we don't want to have. And especially for us spiritual, or, witchy, highly sensitive ADHDers, we are made to want to fit in with society, which is okay, because everybody wants to fit in society, right? We all want to fit in, but we want to fit in a society that is not made for us, because we're a little bit different. Remember how I said, you could be a duck inside of a hen's house, and you're a duck. You're not going to change being a duck. You're still going to be in the hen house, right? So what if we can change that? But you're not going to be able to change that as long as you don't start to acknowledge, where are you? Where are you? Where are your emotions? Where are your thoughts? And how can I start healing the parts of what I don't want to have in my life anymore? And how can I move my energy towards what I want to call into my life? What is it that I can do? And this is the understanding of Kohō, the understanding that the universe always says yes. The universe is always matching my energy, my thoughts, my emotions, my energies. And the more I understand that, the better I can attract and call things into my life that are important to me in a right way. And again, I know that for us ADHDers, for us highly sensitive people, it is possible, because I can show you. I went through the whole thing. I know that it is possible for us. And the more we learn to heal those parts where we think that we're broken. It's not that we're broken. It's actually that we're trying to fit in into wrong. You know, those games that little kids play where they have, different forms, like a triangle thing and a square thing, and you have to fit it in. Well, if you're trying to fit the square part into the round, it's not going to fit in, right? So you have to find the other one, the other piece. And it's about doing that with yourself, being graceful with yourself. You're a human being here on a human experience. And sometimes we've lived life, we've taken on beliefs of the people surrounding us because they were there. We needed to do that in the beginning. But now, if you're listening to me, you're probably already grown up and already trying, you've tried probably a couple of things. But have you tried this? Allowing yourself to be you and allowing through that to become the observer and to see what things do you have in your system that you don't want anymore and that you can release. And these are things that usually cause all of the traits that we don't like about ourselves, like the pressure that we put on ourselves that makes us go into overwhelm, like the things that, what's it called? The whole rejection thing that we also have. Some of us have, some more, some less, but we have that fear of being rejected. Why? Because we've always felt like we've been rejected all the time. So we cling to everybody who accepts us the way we are, right? So why not start with yourself? Why not start with you accepting yourself so that everybody else can start accepting you? Or the universe can then, Kohō, and match your energy and find the right space for you. If you would have asked me, I think 10 years ago, I think we can say 10 years ago, because that's when I was still, this was my last month, 10 years ago, this was my last month in corporate world. I had already quit the job and I wanted to start with my own business. And if someone would have told me where I would be in 10 years, I wouldn't have believed it because it felt so far away. And one of the things that I didn't put in there, because the universe surprised me with so many more things, because I have been working on all of those things for myself. I'm not going to say I'm still very prone to overwhelm every now and then, but I recognize the signs very fast and can do something about it. That's one thing. The second thing that I find amazing, and this is why I keep on saying it's for us to find the right place, like if you're a square and you're trying to put in the round, we can fit, we need to find our spot. And I am so grateful and thankful to the universe, because throughout all of the work that I have done for myself, I have ended up doing jobs that inspire me, that I love to do. And at the same time, I'm surrounded by people who accept me with my neurodivergency. All those traits that I have are what made me good at all the jobs that I do right now. And I'm saying, because we do more, come on, we're ADHDers. We love to have more than one inspiration around us. And I'm not saying for everybody needs to become, self-employed and, do that. No. Everybody of us, we're all different at the same time, but finding your square where you fit in. And that is by understanding Kohō, by understanding that you can call that in when you stop fighting your own nature, your own self. I always say, because that, for me, that's the divine part that lives in all of us. We have a divine part that brought us here onto this plane right now in this time. And there's a reason why it brought us here with these traits. And I know that there's a saying that the divine never asks anything of us that we can't handle. So making ourselves aware of that, and making ourselves aware that we have that power to actually call in the right kind of things into our lives feels so empowering. That's why I love Kohō. Kohō is that, and it's not punishment, not at all. It's actually empowerment. Oh, see, that's a very, I'm so sorry this episode became a little bit longer. But I hope that I could inspire you to take a little deeper look into this form, this rule. I don't like the name rules. I don't like rules. Principles, philosophy, name it whatever feels right for you. But just, see this as an invitation just to look out for yourself. Where are you offering Kohō exactly what you want to call into your life? And where are you offering the universe exactly what you don't want to call into your life? And again, please, always, with anything that I'm telling you here in these energy waves, it's for you an invitation to see what feels right, what feels light, and what feels right for yourself. With that said, my beautiful soul, I hope you enjoyed today. If you'd like, as always, I'd like to invite you, if you want to meet your spirit guides, come and join me Sunday at 21 Central European Summertime on my YouTube channel. You'll find the link below, or you'll find the link. You're already there if you're watching on YouTube, and if not, you'll find the link below. Come join me, or come join my cyber coven. You'll find more stuff, and I'm working actually there on doing even more, but it's going to take me a little bit longer. But for right now, just come join the free cyber coven community if you haven't already, and for more resources later on. And until then, my wonderful, beautiful soul, let me know what resonated today. What was your highlight of today's episode? I would love to know. With much aloha, mahalo, aloha, mahalo, my beautiful soul. Have a blessed next week.